So now what we've got is Paul is communicating to these cast off, exiled tribes or those of the nations that they are no longer to be regarded as strangers. This is actually a complete equalization of status, isn't it? This is a complete equalization of status. There's no longer Jew or Greek, slave or free, male or female, but you are all one in Messiah. A complete equalization of status. So my problem that we find in the Messianic movement is there is this racial superiority and hierarchy that if you're, you've got, you're Jewish this or you're, there's all this diversity and hierarchy which negates this very equalization of status. And I can't stand that because it goes against the true gospel of Messiah, which is come all and know the Messiah and be of equal status together, no matter where you come from or no matter what color or creed that you are. Because quite honestly, we live in a world where they are trying to foment racism, stirring it up. And I say they, who? All of the globalists, the Illuminati. Why? Because racism is a social construct if you are a Bible believer. It's a social construct. If you are a devout believer in the Bible, you are a follower of Yahweh, the Elohim of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is impossible for you to be racist. Because if you believe that Yahweh created Adam and Eve, then all of us come from the same family. The same family. So racism is a social construct that the heathen has constructed. It does not apply to Bible believers. It is impossible for us to be racist if we believe truly that we came from Adam the Hava. It is the society that constructs it to foment it so that they can what? Enslave you in your petty quabbles and struggles against one another so that you do not awaken to the taskmasters that have chains upon your back, which are the bankers, the globalists, the Illuminati that are truly fomenting it. Why do you think now that we're having more of this in America than we have had in the past years? Because, of course, if they can pit race against race, people against people, then we will not unite as Bible believers saying, we are Joseph's coat of many colors, and you are thrusting a social construct on us that we rebuke and renounce in the mighty name of Yahushua. Let us come together and get rid of these absolute tyrants that are trying to make us make bricks without straw, just as they did back in the day. So I have a very big problem with that because I'm a Bible believer and I know that we come from one family, so therefore I reject your charges. I reject it because that is for the heathen. It is not for us. We are a kadosh, holy people, and when we come together, that's when we defeat tyranny. Absolute tyranny. Of course, now you can have, saying that, you can have groups of people. You can have a bunch of pagans. You can have idolaters. You can have heathens. You can have the spiritually fallen. These are legitimate designations, right? But you cannot try and levy the charge of racism upon devout, holy Bible believers, because we came from the same family. It's a social construct used to enslave you and pit one against another, and I reject it. And so should every devout person. Governments thrive upon fomenting racial tension. We're coming up on the 100th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution. Of course, this is 100-year plan for the Third World War. 100-year plan. Governments thrive on fomenting racial tension. And it is always those who say they are Jews and are not, but are in fact the synagogue of Satan. Bolshevism is the synagogue of Satan, which today is what is called the New World Order that runs our banks, Hollywood, the media, and all of this fake news. It's Bolshevism rebranded, trying to foment racial tension and the Third World War with the 100-year anniversary. It wasn't the Russian Revolution. That's fake history. The Russians weren't trying to have a revolution. It was the Bolshevik Ashkenazi Jews, those who say they are Jews and are not, but are in fact the synagogue of Satan, killing the Tsars and then trying to spread their tyranny of racial division and encroaching upon Western Europe. They spread from the east, they encroached upon the west, and then, of course, Winston Churchill got totally bought out by the Bolsheviks in London, and of course, he capitulated to them, and so did the Allies here in Wall Street, and of course, we end up with a Second World War, when in reality, this was all fomented back in 1917, if you know your history. And of course, you won't if you went to high school in America, because they won't teach you this stuff. Because they like to foment and cause division. Because when Yahweh's people come together, we are a powerhouse of anointed priestly blessing.